Welcome to another episode of the Giant Take podcast. The New York Giants with the good. Let me do the Bears first. The Chicago Bears with a score of 29. The New York Giants with 3. That's 3 points. That's 1 field goal. Not even 2 Graham Gano field goals, who's been the most offensive, special teams, whatever, productive player of the year. Better than Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Kenny Golladay, Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney, Mike Glennon, Giraffe Neck Glennon, Jake Fromm, or any. Graham Gano, that's only 1 field goal from him. That's not even 1 touchdown. That is 3 points. On the first play of this game, for the New York Giants, it was a fumble. It was a missed defensive lineman that went right through, hit Glennon about 3 seconds into the play, knocked the football out of his hands, and the Bears had it at the 1. You want to know the Bears' first play of this game? A 1-yard run with David Montgomery for a touchdown. Now, as a Giants fan, I think you already knew happening in this game, we were going to get blown out. It was going to be awful. But if you didn't, if you were just that optimistic, then after that play, maybe you would know the result of the rest of the game. The third play of that game, if you count it between the reception and the special teams kick, the kickoff in the beginning of the game, the first play by Mike Glennon, and then the third play, the Bears run for the touchdown. Anyway, we will talk about all of it and how it impacts the Giants' future. We welcome you to the Giant Take podcast. I am Josh, and I am joined by my co-host Alex. We are here together in the new year. Happy New Year to everyone listening. Welcome to 2022. And the Giants started 2022 with an awful, disgraceful loss by losing 26 points. In the difference between the Bears and Giants score. 29-3 they lost. Anyway, I send it to my co-host Alex. How are you?
New year, same old Giants. That's what I love to say. But I'm doing okay. It was upsetting. Obviously, after the game, we got to watch the Jets game, and it looked like the Jets are going to win. We're going to go up to the 4th pick. No. Tom Brady says no. And, yeah, that was it. But the game, special teams nightmare. Riley Dixon doing 1 good punt, but then us just completely missing a kickoff where it just bounced right down at about the 4-yard line. And we were all going like this, like it was like, it's going to go in back to the end. Oh, no, the ball's behind me. Oh, no. Just great from our special teams guru and Joe Judge, who had a lot to say after the game, too. Went on a big rant. We'll get to that in a couple minutes. But, my God, this was just awful. I don't even know how many. I mean, Josh has the stats, I'm sure. But I don't even know how many turnovers we had. I know we got 1 turnover, Tay Crowder there at the end, but it was just awful. Mike Glennon is terrible. Jake Fromm is also terrible. Not that he, whatever. Everyone's terrible. Our offensive line, we had literal players who I've never seen on the Giants, let alone in the NFL before. Andrew Thomas was very good. He pancaked Robert Quinn like 3 times, which was really fun to watch. But besides that, if you're watching any of the other 10 players on the offensive side of the ball, you just didn't want to watch. Our offensive line needs help. We knew this. It was just further exaggerated today. Or not exaggerated because it was true. It was just further exemplified today. And my God, do we need some damn offensive linemen in the draft and in free agency, because this team has quite literal diner dashers at offensive line, except for Andrew Thomas. These guys are at the diner from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m., show up the next morning on the team bus, and then they're at the game, and Joe Judge is coaching them up on the sidelines. Ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I can't. It's so infuriating. It's so frustrating.
It's pretty bad. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I want Alex. You're gonna put this clip in, for everyone listening. And it's going to talk about Joe Judge and him saying, from offense, wasn't so good right there. It wasn't. So yeah, there's going to be that. For everyone on video, I can play that for you right now. Yeah. And then Alex will edit around
and I'll
with
edit,
audio.
yeah.
Does that work?
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
We look like we're a map.
Start it over.
I'm not here to argue or debate about stats. Jordan, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It wasn't good enough.
The first place from scrimmage there is Mike supposed to hot receiver there, but it's just somebody supposed to block.
We look like we're mapped up as a 5-man protection. We're mapped up 5 for 5 along the way. There's obviously ways to handle the free rushers coming off. I'm not going to go into everything schematically and what we did. Obviously, it wasn't good enough right there.
Recognizing that, or is it what's going on?
I'm just going to keep it as obviously from an offensive standpoint, it wasn't good enough right there. All right, I'm not going to go into your dissecting everything Mike did today, but we got to be more productive and do better things in offense.
Yeah, it wasn't good right there.
Right there, you see the door over there right there? That's the door right there that my ass is going to be walking out at the end of the season. Okay, that right there, you see right there? That's where I'm going right there. Right there.
And you know what's funny, Alex? I usually save the stats till we're like wrapping up, but I don't give a shit because damn it.
Negative 10 net yards. How is that even possible? I was discussing, how is that possible? I don't even know how that's possible.
I lost the curse counter. Anyway, yeah, as a team, negative 10 net yards, and then Mike Glennon's stat line in this game, 4 for 11, 24 yards, 2 interceptions. Oh my, it's atrocious. It is atrocious, this Giants offense. You want to know who had catches today? I understand. Give me the excuse with COVID, and the only healthy wide receiver was Kenny Golladay, and then it was all practice squad signings or whatever. It was Kenny Golladay, Colin Johnson, David Sills.
Johnson wasn't even playing, I don't think. Johnson wasn't even playing. I didn't see him.
Oh, maybe he was out too with COVID. Whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Farrell Cooper too. Okay.
The legend, the best kick returner.
The 2 positive catches, because it was Devontae Booker had 2 catches, but that evened out to 0 yards. So David Sills, 1 catch for 12 yards. Evan Ingram, 1 catch for 12 yards. David Sills, the practice squad signing, led the team in yards today with only 12 on 1 catch. And then the only bright spot on defense was that Jalen Smith got his first sack with the New York Giants, which is, by the way, Jalen Smith, this is his 2nd game starting, has more sacks than probably half of the D linemen. I don't know, like something like that. I don't know the exact thing.
Zoe Carter was good. Zoe Carter was good. Yeah, I know you're
had another good game.
Yeah.
Yep, 5 tackles, 1 sack. And Xavier McKinney almost had an interception there. Him and, Aaron Robinson combined or someone else. But I do like to mention Robinson got beat on that second touchdown by Darnell Mooney in the back of the end zone. So that was something to look at. I was like, who's 33? And I was like, wow, that's Aaron Robinson, our 3rd-round pick. That's annoying. But, I mean, it is what it is. Something to clean up again. This game didn't matter, but we saw what we saw, and it was a bunch more of stupidity, and hated that. Hated that.
Yep, for sure. Logan Ryan dropping 2 picks. That was another fun one. But Tua only throws 2-yard outside passes, right? He's not a good quarterback. Tua. But remember how he made those stupid comments about Tua? Yeah. That's what I was mentioning. Yeah, so instead of talking as much, maybe focus on your catching a bit. You have to go with the Dory Jackson to start catching practice at practice. I said practice about 50 times there, but the Giants need a lot of it. I don't even know what else to say. There's not even much to say about the game, to be honest, because it was what we expected, just worse. And I don't even know how that's possible, considering how bad we expected it to be. And then Joe Judge at the end of the game just made it ridiculous. He just made it. It was desperation hour, and you could tell it. You could tell for sure this guy is nervous for his job. There's been reports he's safe, but this guy didn't seem like someone who seemed like he was safe, right? It didn't seem like no one who's safe is making the comments he made.
Do you want to go through those right now, or you want to wait?
I'll go through them. First, on the running game and how it didn't show confidence in the passing game. Just because you choose to run the ball doesn't mean you have an absence of faith in other aspects. Joe Judge said, if you look internally, that there are a lot of things going in the right direction. I'd love some more detail on that, but of course they won't ask him that. And then, this team isn't, and this isn't his 12 and a half minute rant, This isn't a team having fights on the sidelines. Also, Kadarius Toney punching someone in the face or missing the punch. This isn't a clown show organization. That's probably my favorite quote of the day because it is. It's a clown show. It's actually more saying it's a clown show is disrespecting clowns. Okay, it's worse than a clown show.
maybe.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, maybe Joe Judge has been scrolling on Twitter a little bit too much, and he's been seeing the pictures of him in the clown mask, and him and Mara and Gettleman and all of those guys, whatever, Garrett, all of those people. So the Giants had negative 10 net yards passing versus the Bears, as Alex already mentioned, and Jordan Ronan let us know that that's the lowest by any team since the 1998 Chargers, when Ryan Leaf went 1 for 15 for 4 yards and lost 23 yards on a sack. Per ESPN stats.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And then Joe Judge said, "Oh, you read the I'm not going to argue about stats?" Right?
Yeah, I think I read that already. If not,
Joe Judge on the terrible passing attack of negative 10 yards.
Yeah, I'm not here to argue about stats. It is what it is. It wasn't good enough. Right there.
Yeah, and then
there must have been a right there and there. Got to be right there.
You said he dropped an F-bomb too?
Yes, that was later. Here, I'll keep going. If we don't play well, every fan has a right to boo my ass out of the stadium in reference to next week, which is hilarious. And then this is probably my favorite part because this is total BS. Said that there are players that were on the Giants last year that have been calling him saying how much they wish they were still here, even though they're getting paid more somewhere else. Who? Is Kevin Zeitler calling you up and telling you that? I don't understand. Is Zeitler, who's probably going to the playoffs with the Ravens, is he calling? He's like, damn, Coach Judge, I wish I was here next to Will Hernandez and Billy Price and Nate Solder. I wish I was playing along him, not next to Ronnie Stanley and all pro offensive. No. I want to be here. Okay, I want to be with you, Joe. That's where I want to be. Just ridiculous.
It is. I mean, I'm scrolling through the whole thing right now, and I'm just trying to get the gist of it. But I mean, it is crazy how he gave an 11-minute. Here, Zach Rosenblatt has the exact statistics here. At the end of the postgame press conference, Judge was asked why fans should continue to have faith and believe in the Giants, that the Giants can get things turned around. In response, Joe Judge went on an epic, expletive-filled rant about why things are better than they seem. We transcribed the entire and diatribe? I don't know. I can't read, In total, it lasted for 11 minutes, 7 seconds, and by our count, 2,614 words. Oh, my God. All right. I mean, we can go through the statistics on Saquon Barkley and Devontae Booker because I got a lot to say about that. There was a whole talk this week, and we talked about it in our preview about Saquon Barkley going to the stadium where he tore his ACL. He came in and had a really good day, probably his best day of the season. 21 carries for 102 yards, about 5 yards a carry. Devontae Booker behind him had 18 carries for 46 yards. And I want to say this, Alex. I get it. This is a good day today by Saquon Barkley in the place where he tore his ACL a year ago in week 2. But it's not enough. It's not enough for a player like what we've seen of the past Saquon Barkley, the 2 seasons before this 4th season in the NFL. This player used to have 115, 20 yards consistently per game. And we haven't seen that since his rookie year, really. Since his rookie year. So this isn't enough. This is one game out of the 8-17 they're playing. So I still have no problem with Booker being my starting running back next year if the Giants want to trade Saquon Barkley. They won't, but I have no problem with it.
They won't. John Mara is going to give him a 10-year deal, $100,000 million billion, and it's going to be over because he sells medium sodas, okay? It's awful. I feel bad for Saquon. We've ruined Saquon Barkley's career. I've said this time after time. He had all the talent out in the world coming out of Penn State, all the talent in the world coming out of his rookie season, and this team has failed him. The injuries, maybe not directly the Giants' fault, but poor offensive linemen. He's been getting banged up like crazy. and he's not the same Saquon Barkley of old. It's devastating. The Giants ruined him, and I really hope he leaves for his own sake, goes to a better team, recovers his form, and just just fulfills the potential he had, because the Giants ruined him. And I feel terrible. I feel terrible for him because the Giants have ruined Saquon Barkley. We have ruined him, and we are going to continue to ruin players if we don't change the way we do things. We are. We're just going to continue to ruin talent. We've had talent. We have talent on this team. The talent is being ruined.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, going to the Bears stat line, you said you had David Montgomery as your player, X factor going into this one. I think you had Darnell Mooney, but maybe I'm just making it up. And we didn't go back and check, which is bad on our part, but whatever. I take you by your word, Alex. David Montgomery.
It was Montgomery. I'm 100% sure. Montgomery. 100%. 100%.
22 carries, 64 yards, and 2 touchdowns, so you were right there. And then also, I had the defensive player, what was his name? Bob or Robert. You called him Bob for some reason. Robert Quinn was my player, and he actually today had a sack, a few tackles, and he set the franchise record for the Chicago Bears with the amount of sacks that he did in fact have. The most sacks in a single season in franchise history with 18. So congrats to Robert Quinn, because got Mike Glennon again. The Giants had 1 turnover in this game. They turned over Andy Dalton, or had 1 pick, I should say. I think that was by James Bradbury, who had also some good coverage. I mean, honestly, Alex, there's not much more I have to say, because in doing so, I want to, again, I like saying this because it's true. We try to save as many minutes from all these Giants fans, listeners. You don't need to hear about this for hours, because you know what it is already. And we don't want to stop you from living your lives and not having to hear about this team for a long period of time. So, I mean, Alex, I can go to you.
I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else either. Yeah, I mean, it's just this team's god-awful. I'm excited for the offseason. I'm excited to see – I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm excited to see what happens, right? I think, we're all a little bit excited. Ooh, the new GM's going to come in. It's going to be all better. We're all going to be good. But John Mara's still here. He's not going anywhere. And, but hopefully we get some exciting news with the GM in the next couple weeks. And Dave Gettleman should be relieved of his duties tomorrow, but he won't be. Yeah, that's all I got to say, and I think we should wrap up the episode now because, again, like you said, we don't need to waste anyone's time.
Just the last few things I want to mention here is that we had Joe Judge no-need timeout I think it was the end of the first half. We also had Joe Judge rush on the punt team because he thought he was
fan favorite.
Cool. Yep,
Antonio Brown having a meltdown, if anyone's interested. Not
that's
that
in
Giants
a different
related.
game. Nope.
I know, but it's just fun.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about something not Giants related, let's talk about Odell Beckham Jr. If you didn't know, he has more touchdowns with the Rams than the Giants wide receivers combined per Big Blue United.
Great.
Pretty exciting. Okay, my final screaming thing. This team is absolutely trash. Like, they are so bad. I mean, losing 29-3 to the Chicago Bears. You look at other teams, you look at the Falcons. Again, at least they competed. At least the Bears can compete with the Seahawks. We can't even compete. There's no, effort. I don't know. There's no intensity. The offense gets an F. The defense gets, a D plus C. I don't know. The special teams gets a goddamn F because they can't even do their job right. Alex, we didn't even mention this. What about Pharaoh Cooper watching the ball?
No, we did mention it. I mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah, you did the whole thing. Yeah, just watching the ball go to the end zone. It's like, oh, wait, maybe I should do something here. Maybe I should catch it. I don't know. So, I mean, the special teams gets an F, and just throw out an F to Joe Judge, too, because he deserves it on his goddamn report card. He deserves it on his goddamn grade book, okay?
Bring in Antonio Brown. How can it get any worse? Bring him in.
I mean, that's a pretty bad situation for the Bucs, but trust me, they don't need him. Because bring
him to us. We need wide receivers. Come on, Antonio. Come over here.
I mean, I'll take a head case. Why not? We had Odell Beckham before.
Why not?
And also, Alex, how funny is it that the Jets and New York teams still suck? The Jets had a lead. Brady comes right back down.
But they competed, did they not? They also competed. So we got to give them some credit. We got to give them some credit.
Some credit.
Oh, sorry, I misspoke.
It's all right. It's all right.
That's what being a Giants fan does to you.
Yeah, I can't even speak anymore. I mean, the Jets kind of squandered our third pick, but now we have the fourth pick, so I got excited. Bears 2 wins in a row, though. That's a problem. That's going to mess up our pick later in the draft. But you know what? It's 2 first rounders.
No, we still have the 5th pick, actually, because the Texans lost. So
4th and 5th?
No, we have 5th and something else now. Because the Bears, well, we don't know exactly. The Bears want so we have like the 5th and probably like the 9th pick.
Okay, whatever. I'll take 2 early first rounders.
Yeah, I'll take it, but still not as good as 4 and 5, which we had earlier in the season. So
yeah, it's bad. But anyway, we thank you so much for listening and or watching. We appreciate you. Please subscribe, drop 5 stars if you're on Apple Podcasts, give it a like if you're on YouTube, and comment please your thoughts. And if you want to comment in Apple Podcasts, you can do that by writing the review and then just letting us know your thoughts on this team and how awful they are and horrendous. Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. Subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. For all the links you can listen and watch, go to stupidstudios.com/thegianttake. That's stupidstudios.com/thegianttake. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok by the name @thegianttake_pod. Alex is on Twitter @anorian23. I'm on Twitter @joshsolo29. And honestly, with that, we're sorry it's a little bit of a shorter episode today, but there's not much when this team is so bad and it's repetitive. It's so repetitive that the new points we have are repeated. So we want to give you this time as Giants fans to recuperate, get back into your lives, and hopefully blank from this whole team. Like just forget about it for this week until you watch them play against Washington for one more week. And then we got off-season content, and that's exciting at least. Okay, so something to look forward to. But anyway, for Alex, I'm Josh. Thank you so much for listening, watching, whatever you were doing. And we'll see you next time. Peace.